Have you ever seen a plane fly, well, sideways? It sounds like something has gone horribly wrong, but believe it or not, it's actually one of the most vital skills a pilot can have. Today, we're going to break down the forward slip, a maneuver that feels completely counterintuitive but is sometimes exactly the right thing to do to get out of a tight spot. Let's get into it.
Okay, so put yourself in the pilot's seat for a second. You're on your final approach, the runway's right there in front of you, but you're way too high. You've got to lose a ton of altitude, and you have to do it fast. Are you just going to sail right over the entire airport? So what's the plan?
Now, your first instinct might be to just point the nose down, right? I mean, let gravity do the work. But that is a classic rookie mistake. See, pushing the nose down sends your airspeed through the roof, and that turns a nice, controlled approach into a high-speed dive. You'd hit the runway way, way too fast to land safely. So what is the real solution here? You fly the plane sideways. Yeah, on purpose. You take this beautifully sleek aerodynamic machine and you intentionally turn it into a giant, clumsy air brake. It sounds absolutely wild, but it's actually a brilliant maneuver called a forward slip.
So, officially, a forward slip is when a pilot intentionally uncoordinates the aircraft. What this does is create a massive amount of drag. This lets the plane drop like a stone at a really steep angle, but, and this is the magic part, without picking up all that dangerous speed. It's kind of like a controlled fall, and it is incredibly effective.
And from a pilot's point of view, it really is as simple as it sounds. You are literally flying the airplane sideways, using the whole side of the plane's body as a giant brake against the wind. Okay, so how in the world does a pilot pull this off without just completely losing control? Let's get into the mechanics of this amazing technique.
It's this really precise dance of control inputs. So first, the pilot pulls the engine power all the way back to idle. Then, they bank the plane with the ailerons, usually into any crosswind. But at the exact same time, they stomp on the opposite rudder pedal, which yaws the nose away from the turn. The plane is now what pilots call crossed up, and this creates that immense drag we were talking about, making it descend super fast, all while the pilot uses the pitch to keep a safe approach speed.
And that first step, cutting the power, it's absolutely crucial. This quote just nails it. Trying to do a slip with the engine running would be like hitting the gas and the brakes in your car at the same time. You've got to get that engine thrust out of the equation first. The whole point of this weird combination of controls is to do one thing: present the side of the fuselage to the wind. Normally, a plane is designed to be as slippery and streamlined as possible, right? But in a slip, you want it to be about as aerodynamic as a brick.
And the results are, well, they're dramatic. Drag goes way up, the rate of descent goes way up too. But here's the key, the most important part. The airspeed stays constant and under control. You get that steep drop you need without the dangerous speed you're trying to avoid.
Just how effective is it? Well, get this. In one demonstration in a small Cessna, a pilot was able to get a descent rate of over 2,000 feet per minute. To put that in perspective, a totally normal descent might be around 500 feet per minute. So yeah, this is an incredibly powerful tool.
And this little quote right here gets to the absolute heart of why this works. You are shedding altitude like crazy, but you are not gaining speed, you're not gaining energy. It's a controlled, high-drag descent, and that is the entire point.
So here's a little secret from inside the cockpit. During the slip, the pilot actually holds a constant rudder input, let's say full left rudder. Then, they use the ailerons to make these tiny adjustments to the bank angle, and that's what keeps the plane tracking on a perfectly straight path to the runway. It's a really fine-tuned balancing act.
All right, let's look at how this all comes together in the real world. Because while the slip is an absolute lifesaver, it does have some really important safety rules. And it has a cousin that looks almost exactly the same.
It is so important not to confuse the forward slip with a side slip. So think of it this way. In a forward slip, your goal is to lose altitude, but you're still moving straight ahead toward the runway. In a side slip, you're actually sidestepping through the air to fight against a crosswind just before you land. The controls feel similar, but the goal and the plane's actual path over the ground are completely different.
Now, flying uncoordinated like this isn't without its risks. For one, the airspeed indicator can become unreliable because the air isn't hitting the sensor straight on. In some planes, like older Cessnas, doing a slip with full flaps can mess up the airflow over the tail, making the elevator less effective. That's called elevator masking. And of course, the pilot has to maintain a safe airspeed and always recover smoothly from the slip before touching down.
So why is this one maneuver so incredibly essential for pretty much every pilot to master? Well, it's a fundamental tool for handling tough, unexpected situations with absolute precision and control.
A pilot will use a forward slip when they're simply too high on an approach, for sure. But it's also a critical skill during something terrifying like an engine-out emergency where you literally only get one shot at the runway. It's also the main way you control descents in a lot of older aircraft that don't even have flaps, or in any plane if the flaps decide to fail on you.
When it comes right down to it, the forward slip is a perfect example of a pilot's mastery of aerodynamics. It's all about intentionally taking a plane out of its normal, comfortable flight envelope and using that uncoordinated state to have complete control when it matters the most.
The forward slip really teaches us a fascinating lesson. Sometimes, to stay in control, you have to break the rules of normal flight. It really makes you think, doesn't it? When is flying the wrong way exactly the right way to fly?